Hello everyone and welcome to the video, and today we are going to be doing a review of my 2021 Diamondback Atroz 2. So if you watched yesterday's video, you know that I said that I was going to be doing a review on my new bike. So yes, my Specialized is gone. I'll just give a brief summary of what happened to that. So as you know, in my little skit that I made, I had filmed like that. It was cool, and I was just showing like my new bike, you know, and it was kind of fun to watch. Is that a bunny? Guys, there's literally a bunny. I literally look over and see, oh yeah, it's hopping away. Yep, right there. Oh yeah, he's skirting. Well, that was interesting. So as you guys just saw, I just found a bunny. It's kind of weird because we're not too far from the city, and there's just a bunny, and he's literally in the bush right behind the camera. But anyway, guys, so we are going to be doing a review on this. This is my first ever brand new full suspension. I've had hardtails, and my two last bikes were full suspensions, but they were used. So I'm glad I finally got a new bike. But anyways, let's begin. So this bike comes stock with both SR Suntour shocks on both sides. The front one is an SR Suntour XCM30 fork, and the rear is an SR Suntour Radon R. This bike comes stock with tires from a company called V Tire Co. As you can see, these are definitely not those tires. I have Maxxis Minions. I had got a tubeless setup because, as you can see, the Utah desert, there's a lot of stickers out here. So I definitely had to get that done, especially joining the mountain bike team. That's gonna be helpful. And so they're really nice and super grippy. As for the drivetrain on this bike, you get a Shimano 1x9. Something that I love about this bike, and a lot of people actually hate, is this geometry that Diamondback has put on a lot of their bikes. So most bikes, as you can see, their bottom bar would be going like this, but this one actually raises up and goes across, so this middle part is much skinnier. And what I like about this more is, since it has a chain roller on it, it actually helps, so then your frame is protected because your chain is not slapping against your frame and damaging the paint and just creating little holes and divots inside of it. So that's really nice, being able to do that and not have to worry about it. And plus, it's really quiet since it doesn't move a lot. As for the seat, I'd say it's pretty decent. It's not the most comfortable thing ever, but it is cool that they match the lettering with the bike. And I'm definitely gonna have to get a dropper post because, as you can see, the terrain, a lot of hills, but also a lot of downhill. So that's gonna be helpful. Moving to the front of the bike now, it looks really good, especially being a 1x9. There's not a bunch of things beside the brake lever right here, and it comes with a short stem, which looks so much better because having a super long stem just doesn't make your bike look as good, and it looks super nice. I believe these are 740 millimeter bars. I'm going to be upgrading to 800 millimeter bars because I am 6 feet tall and I have pretty long arms, so having wider bars will be very handy, especially on this bike. As for the grips on here, I'm not a fan of these. They are not lock-on grips, and I definitely do not like this because I kind of had to move this around to see where I want my levers at, and they were hitting before, but I think I got them now, so I'm going to get some lock-on grips. But they're not too bad. They're pretty grippy, but not my favorite. Another thing I was really happy about this bike is, one thing you can see though, is it comes with outer cable routing. And so I was just wondering, how am I going to do a dropper post, because I don't really like the cable going off the back. So I was told by my bike shop that this actually does use inner cable routing specifically for a dropper post. I'm not entirely sure where it's going to come out to go right there, but it should go somewhere, but it's not too bad. Looking from the back of the bike, I really love looking from the rear because you can really just see how wide those handlebars are and just see how nice this whole bike looks. Also, this bike has a really steep head angle, which is perfect for me because this bike is actually pretty heavy. That's probably the one thing that I dislike about this bike is just the weight of it. It actually weighs more than a downhill bike because I believe this is a trail bike, but this weighs 48 pounds, which is a lot. And downhill bikes I've seen only weigh about 45 to 40 to 45, but it's got that steep head angle, which is perfect for all the downhill here in Utah. Diamondback actually gives you some pretty good pedals. I really like these just because they come with the studs on them and they're not just like the cheap plastic pedals that Walmart bikes come with. They actually do come with reflectors on either side, but I actually took those off because I think it looks so much better without them. As for braking on this bike, I think it does really well. Other than that, this bike looks really clean. I like how they just added small lettering for the Diamondback right here so you can see a lot of the bike and you can still tell what it is. And it also has Atroz right on the top with super nice designs going across the top tube. So, as I said, this is a pretty good bike. I bought it for a total of $1,300, and that's not bad for a full suspension. That's, not expensive, but it also gives you a ton of nice parts. The things I want to do to it, as I said, is a dropper post. I think I want to get a 1x12 just so I have some extra climbing gears because, as I said, this bike does weigh 48 pounds, which is a ton, and that's a lot of uphill. And I did say I'm joining my school's bike team, and it's cross country, but it's so much uphill, and I think a 1x12 would be so much better. And definitely probably a new fork because, as I said, it's not bad, but it's definitely not the greatest thing ever. And probably new grips. I had race face ones on my last bike and they were perfect, and these ones they're not my style. Maybe sometime in the future an updated rear shock just so I can kind of get some more bounce to it, which would help a lot. I'm sure a lot of people would probably go with a more expensive hardtail for $1,300 than a full suspension for $1,300. But if you want a good starter bike but also a pretty decent bike that'll work really well for you, I'd say this is the one to get. And it's made by a known brand. Diamondback has been here for a long time, and so you know that you can trust them because so far for the past 2 weeks this bike has held up really well. So there you go, guys. That is the full review of my new bike. I hope you enjoyed. It is really nice. I'm super happy I got this, and when I was looking for bikes, as probably every mountain biker knows right now, is the demand for bikes pretty much everywhere is terrible, and you couldn't find any bike really. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now we're gonna get some riding clips of it right now.
Me do my two-step.